gun? That's the shit you went home to go get? A gun? Why is the gun on you? Why do you have a gun? This shit is not funny. What's poppin' YouTube? It's the boy East End Dyke. Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today, I'm not even gonna do any type of long talking. I'm gonna sit here and talk to you about the time that my coworker felt that it would be appropriate to sit down there and threaten to bust gun on the clock. Look at we've been in this video for all of like 50 seconds to a minute, and I just told you that my coworker looked at me and told me that he wanted to bust gun. This was back, I think this was summer 2019. I was working at a car dealership. I used to work there with this guy who was my friend at the time. Let's call him Pinocchio. And then we're gonna call the other guy, I'm gonna call him Bucky. We're gonna call him Bucky. Now, Bucky was new, right? The way the job was, as long as you kind of brought the cars where they needed to go, you could kind of mess around and do whatever you needed to do. As long as no one needs you at the moment in time, you can do whatever you need to do. Me, Bucky, and Pinocchio were on the road. We decided that we were gonna go and get something to eat. We get to this plaza. It was a really tight plaza. Well, I'm in the back seat, I'm Koch, Pinocchio's in the front, and Bucky's in the front driving or whatever. One was trying to eat McDonald's, so we went to the Tim Hortons, we got our food or whatever, we jumped back in the car. We're preparing to leave the plaza now. The line from the McDonald's drive-thru stretched out into the part of the plaza that people would be driving in. So only one person could pass at a time. You couldn't really pass, two people could not pass at the same time. So there's basically a person coming, trying to come through, right? They're trying to come around the McDonald's line and come through, and Bucky decides that he's gonna continue to force himself and go forward. All I hear all of a sudden is Bucky starts beeping and wilding out. So then I look up and I'm like, yo, what is going on? What is the problem? What's all the commotion? Why is everybody so loud? I'm sitting there just trying to have my little munch bunch, you know? Because at the end of the day, man, I'm on the clock. Man, about on the clock. We didn't clock out, because man didn't clock out for break. We're gonna call the other driver Billy. It was this middle-aged guy. Anyways, all I hear is a back of beeps. Listen to me. But Bucky and Billy's eyes are making four as they're sitting there beeping their horns. Bucky's just staring at the guy like this, you know. All Bucky's doing is staring at the guy like this. And I'm looking at Bucky and I'm like, what's going on with, like, why Bucky looking at the man like, say it's about to be a war zone in here? After Bucky was looking at Billy like that, I think that Billy got offended, as anybody would, you know, because if someone was trying to grill me on the street like that, who you looking at? Stare at your big toe. Billy basically then decided that he was gonna roll down his window. I was telling Bucky, I'm like, yo, Bucky, just go, like, just go, like, cut. They're going back and forth about whatever the hell they're going back and forth about. I really didn't give a damn. I did not care. I didn't care about what they were going back and forth about. What I cared about was eating my chicken wrap and getting back to work before the boss called me and told me that he noticed I was missing. And I want you guys to understand that this whole interaction was causing a traffic jam in the plaza, right? There are no tints on this car. And this is a company car, and we're not supposed to be over here, right? So I'm looking at Bucky and I'm like, yo, let's go. Press gas, like, let's go, fam. Billy now is also trying to push forward. I don't know for the life of me how me and Billy's eyes made for. I don't know, because I promise you I was in the backseat eating my chicken wrap, minding my business. My business had nothing to do with what Bucky and Billy's beef was. And he uttered something. Nah, nah, because it's coming back to me now. I'm gonna get cheese. Like, our eyes made four, and rather than him not allowing our eyes to continue to make four, Billy decided that it would be appropriate for him to just continue to try and grill me now. Yo, like, what's all while going? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't mind me. You need to mind the fact that your foot bottom is black like tar. And I look back and I kind of look back again, and he's still looking at me. He's looking at me, looking at him, and I'm looking at him, looking at me, and I'm looking at him, looking at me, and he's looking at me, looking at him. Right? Right. So we're just gonna stare at each other. So I'm like, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? But my window wasn't down, and all he could probably see was, you know, he's gonna sit there and say, you pigeon, you pigeon, you pigeon, pigeon. And I'm like, nah. No. You got the right one. You got the right one, right? There was really no time for me and him to even go back and forth. But I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, this guy just called me a bird, fam. Do I have your panty on my head? Leave me alone. By then, traffic was kind of freeing up or whatever, and there was room for us to move. So we leave the plaza now, and we're heading back to work. As we were leaving the plaza, we got a phone call, and it was basically telling me and Pinocchio to come back to the dealership because they need us to do XYZ, right? As we're pulling into the dealership, Bucky pulls to the side of the dealership by his whip. And Bucky was, let me tell you something. Bucky was real shady looking. Like, he just looked shady. I remember seeing him and I'm like, I don't really want to even talk to that guy because that guy looked a little bit shady. Like he looked like the type to bust out gun on the clock. He's like, yo. He's like, yo, you guys take this car to go do what you guys have to do for the dealership. I'm gonna go home for a second. I have to go get something from my crib and come back. So I'm not really thinking nothing of it, but at the same time, I'm like, what the would this nigga be having to go home for if we're still on the clock, my nigga? We're on the clock, bro. Where you going? Pinocchio jumps into the driver's seat. We do what we gotta do. Now, Bucky comes back after probably like 6 minutes, yo. He jumps back into the driver's seat. Bucky's driving. We're driving around and we're like, fam, like, where we going? And the guy's like, yeah, we're going. What? What are you talking about, fam? Where are we going? I'm looking at this guy, I'm starting to get cheese, but I'm in the back and I have to pause my music, you know. I have to really take out my AirPods because I'm like, didn't I just look at this guy and ask this guy a question about where we're going? The guy's gonna look at me talking about, yeah, but we're going. Where are we going, bro? What are you talking about? Where we going? He looks at Pinocchio and he's like, oh, you guys trying to go back to the plaza? You guys trying to go back to the plaza? Go back to the plaza for fucking what, my nigga? What are we going back to the plaza for, my nigga? I'm sitting there thinking that the guy is going to go get food. Honestly, like, because he didn't get nothing to eat, so I'm like, all right, maybe he wants a quick McDonald's fixins, you know? Like, maybe he just wants a little junior chickens, like a bubble up pop, like, you know, like a bubble ups. You know, maybe he wants a drink. Coca-Cola. That was nowhere near what we were going back to the plaza for. So we get into the plaza now, and he's like, so you guys trying to go find the guy? Are you guys trying to go find it? I'm looking at the guy and I'm like, fam, like, nothing happened. Like, what do you, like, why would we be going to, like, what do you know? And the man is gonna, listen to me, and I can't even make this shit up. He didn't say anything, did not utter one word. Bucky is gonna reach into his pants and pull out a loaded gun. Let me talk to you guys, I'm looking at the guy, I'm like, is that real? That's real? The man's gonna look at me, he's not gonna say nothing. All he's gonna do, is it real? The man's gonna look at me and ask me my question that I just asked him and then load up his gun. The man came on the street with a loaded clip. This is not one in the chamber, eh? One shot Russian roulette type shit. This man came ready to bust gunshot in the plaza. Let me tell you something. I'm like, yo, let me out, eh? I'm not gonna be in, no, cause there's CCTV all up in this bitch. And there's no way that man ever gonna catch me in my Honda uniform. We're in a company car. Even. You don't think that niggas have these plates? What is wrong? I'm sitting there trying to really ask this nigga all these questions, you know. I'm sitting there, and Pinocchio is sitting there kind of like laughing. I'm sitting there shaking in my boots because this nigga has a loaded gun in the car. What is the gun doing? That's the shit you went home to go get? A gun? Honestly, all that was missing was him to shoot himself in his toe. That's all that was missing at this point, was for him to just bust a gunshot out the window. Can't just be just a gun slanging nigga. Like, there's no, why is the gun on you? Nah, why do you have a gun and you were gonna go back to the plaza and shoot him? With me? You felt you were gonna come bring my black ass boss gun in this plaza and I was just gonna drive out with you like say we're in Grand Theft Auto, fam? We were just gonna go back to Honda and act like say you didn't shoot someone? Listen to me. That nothing, you could have shot him in his toe, eh? I don't give a shit what your plan was. It was not gonna be me. Press trigger, I'm gonna press people button. I don't even remember what the man said, eh? Because that was really a moment in life where I actually blacked the f out. Sitting there and I'm like, let me. I'm like, yo, work this out. Do the math. What was your plan? Were you, because you couldn't have been thinking that you were gonna take me. Broad daylight? Oh God, nah. The man said, is it real? What the f? I came here to dog. Them niggas don't pay me enough. After that, the man, he basically ended up just chilling out. He was basically he was caught. To this day, I don't know if he was just trying to flex. I don't know if the man was real life legit, like real rap, like ready to go, ready like Freddy. Nah, man. But that's it for today's YouTube video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it made you guys laugh. Make sure you guys keep it locked, like, comment, subscribe. Guys, follow me on Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. That's it for this week's video. I'll see you guys in the next one.